Bench. Verb. The act of casually dating someone while keeping your options open. See also roster or situationship. Benching can occur if someone dislikes the idea of commitment, or would rather have more partners rather than a single one. The person doing the benching can be of any gender, but typically is someone conventionally attractive. Body count. Noun. The number of people one has slept with. Body count is a number that some people prioritize knowing about their partner. According to some research, there is a correlation with infidelity among those who are more promiscuous, regardless of gender. There are certain double standards to the idea, and according to the NCHS, who conducted a study on American adults ages 25 to 49, men have 6.3 partners on average, and women have 4.3 on average. However, the number of partners says nothing about the quality of those relationships, nor does it have any data involving those outside of heterosexual relationships. Boy sober or girl sober. Noun. The process of abstaining from romantic relationships while working on oneself. The idea of going sober from dating is not a new phenomenon. However, the language around it continues to evolve. This particular idea is concerned with working on oneself before participating in romantic endeavors. While this is a good idea conceptually, in reality, many people disconnect themselves while they should be doing the opposite. There's this underlying notion that we must be the perfect version of ourselves, and that's not the best way to approach dating. Everyone has their quirks and parts to themselves they're working on. You're allowed to be a work in progress. That's just a part of living. Cheat. Verb. To engage in romantic activities outside of one's committed relationship. The specificity of what counts as cheating is hotly debated, and even separated into categories of physical versus emotional cheating. Is it cheating to hold someone else's hand? Is it cheating to fall asleep on the phone with someone? Because this has many things that lie in a gray area, it's best to discuss what classifies as cheating with a partner early into a relationship, to know where the boundaries are. Dating. Verb. The act of going on a date with someone, typically in a one-on-one setting like a dinner or a movie. Dating is sometimes used as a stand-in for being in a serious romantic relationship. However, I'm choosing to separate the definitions. You can go on dates with anyone. This could be with a situationship, someone you just started talking to, or a long-term relationship. What separates dating is that there's no need for a label beyond it. There are those who only see dating in the serious sense, but this puts pressure on both sides to commit to more than what they agreed on. If someone agrees to a date with you, they're agreeing to that activity at that time. They're not agreeing to be your girlfriend. They're not agreeing to marrying you. And thinking in this mentality stops you from enjoying their company and being present with them. Gaslighting. Verb. The act of lying used to manipulate and distort the reality of someone else. This is a term that is highly commonplace and often overused. Gaslighting is lying. However, all lying is not gaslighting. It's important that we make a distinction because the language we use to discuss serious damaging behavior should be clear. We're making another problem when we add in more ambiguity to something that is already difficult to catch in the first place. This is not uniquely a problem to this term, but to a lot of therapy speak that takes place in modern conversation. Ghost. Verb. The act of non-response to someone's messages, calls, or general communication. Ghosting is a widely discussed topic, and there's many perspectives on it. When it comes to talking to someone, there are those who find it easier to let the conversation fizzle out than to talk with the other person about not wanting to continue. Think bench from earlier. Realistically, this occurs in digital settings. It's incredibly easy to ignore messages, block people, or even to be busy with day-to-day life and not be on your phone. The idea of what counts as ghosting is personal. Is no text for a day ghosting? A week? A month? It's gonna depend on you. To reframe it, it's better to assume that nothing negative is happening over the idea that you did something wrong to have them ghost you or lose interest. All you're gonna be doing is feeling anxious over something that may or may not have had anything to do with you. This is ultimately why it's better to find dates in person. Blowup. Verb. The act of becoming more attractive through a variety of methods such as better hygiene, better fitness, better fashion, or better confidence. The glow-up phenomenon is something that occurs regardless of gender. Sometimes this term is used to describe people who simply get older and are no longer adolescents, which is not really the same thing. Typically, glow-ups result from some kind of active effort to change one's own appearance, such as with looksmaxxing. Essentially, when one has a glow-up, their appearance puts them in higher demand in the dating market. Green flag. Noun. The combination of positive characteristics that are seen as reasons to date someone, or continue to date someone. Green flags are interesting because they range from general positive behavior, like being polite and good at communicating, to things that are more niche, like they have the same taste in movies. I've made a video about relationship flags already, but I choose to separate good traits you personally like and good traits in general. Green flags are more universal and less about what you prefer and more about the things that are good to everybody. Ick. Noun. The feeling of disgust at someone else's behavior or actions, usually from a potential romantic partner. The ick almost acts as the opposite of the spark, which is a feeling of connection and attraction to someone that is either there or it's not. There's no faking it. However, the ick isn't always automatic, and it can occur for a multitude of reasons. and many of them can be quite trivial. Realistically, everyone consists of a wide range of behavior, and it's easy to be turned away at the earliest sign of something uncomfortable. People expect others to be the best version of themselves when you have to meet people where they are, and you need to acknowledge you also might not be your best version, and that's okay. Limerance. Noun. The feeling of obsessive affection over someone you know very little about, often thought to be love at first sight. See also parasocial relationships. Limerance is an overwhelming state that is one-sided and leads the other person to be glorified and put on a pedestal. One who experiences limerance craves reciprocation to an unhealthy extent and won't stop having anxious thoughts about the object of their affection. Love. Noun. The feeling of mutual affection between people. Love can occur between anyone, romantic or platonic. In the context of dating, love is a strong feeling of affection for someone else, but it's also the ability to recognize the flaws in this other person. It's balanced and is not obsessed with putting everything on them. Healthy love is a meaningful connection that is secure and willing to compromise. Love bombing. Verb. The manipulation tactic of using excessive affection like overbearing flattery or lavish gift-giving in order to control someone else. Commonly, people describe any type of actions that pushes a relationship forward too quickly with this term. Even if the person doesn't intend to manipulate someone else, it's important to see that this behavior can still be negative. Saying I love you too soon into a relationship, or being clingy and not wanting to be away from your partner, can intimidate them and can evoke a feeling of suffocation, or start you on a path of codependence. What specifically crosses the line is going to depend for some people, so it's best to approach affection as something that you genuinely want to do or give to someone else in a reasonable way. Your relationship shouldn't be treated as transactional. Male gaze and female gaze. Noun. A person's preferences and perspective based on stereotypes about their gender, as seen in media appealing to heterosexual men, which may show women in provocative clothing, or in media appealing to heterosexual women, which may show men in endearing or caretaking roles. See also, girl pretty. The gaze phenomenon isn't new, but it's had an effect on the things that appeal to different genders. There are certain expectations on what is normal to enjoy or to be attracted to as a man, just as there is to being a woman. Regardless of where you stand, these differences have greatly been influenced by various societal factors, that it's difficult to separate ourselves from what influenced us. The way individuals are raised to act in their gender is very much a performance, and the things that appeal to either side will reflect this difference in how we view gender as a society, and what values we instill in children as they develop. Orbit. Verb. To cut off contact with someone but still interact with their social media posts. Orbiting is an easy way to maintain distance while still observing someone else's behavior. Through social media, the ability to check in on others you're interested in is significantly easier and takes way less effort than sending a DM or meeting them in person. Pretty privilege. Noun. The benefits provided to someone who is conventionally attractive. See also, Blowup. There are benefits to being hot, and everyone is well aware of them. The effects of one's own attractiveness tend to be more obvious to an individual who has not always been attractive. It's easier to see people wanting to approach you, people acting friendly, or anything else that changes once you start looking different. Essentially, the halo effect in action. Red flag. Noun. The negative qualities of a potential partner that are seen as reasons to not date them, commonly used to mean things one dislikes about someone else. Red flags, similar to green, are sometimes combined with things that are generally unattractive, such as icks. But these are important to separate and view as different things. A red flag is generally anything that is a bad omen for a potential relationship, such as they've cheated before, they tend to lie, or they break promises. If they do something mildly unappealing, that's not really a red flag, probably a beige one. Relationship. Noun. Any connection had with anyone, more commonly used in a romantic context meaning a committed relationship with a label, such as boyfriend or girlfriend. Words hold significance to us, and show that we define where lines are. Any relationship one is in without clear boundaries or expectations of the other person creates room for ambiguity and other problems. There's a reason why we have specific titles for certain relationships. There's a difference between my girlfriend versus my wife. Both of those words hold different weight and imply different relationships. When we decide to ask, what are we, and define things, this can scare some people off who aren't ready for commitment. And while it can definitely be asked too soon, asking to define a relationship can and is a healthy dating strategy. Viz. Noun. A combination of multiple categories of appealing character traits that combine to make the ability to attract other people. Also used as a verb, meaning to do the attracting, as in rizzing someone, shortened form of the word charisma. The ability to attract partners is a skill many people tend to idolize, and there are those who get stuck on the idea of the exact method. When dating advice is given, it's usually not applicable for most people, and there tends to be a misunderstanding of what makes someone charismatic. You often hear simple advice that gives you little direction. While there are many factors that combine to create charisma, the truth is that socializing is a muscle that you need to exercise frequently. The better you get at talking to other people will make the process of social interaction less scary and more natural. Situationship. Noun. A casual romantic romantic relationship. Typically occurs if one or both sides don't want commitment or have not defined the relationship with a label. On paper, the appeal to a casual relationship is that it allows both parties to get the best of both worlds. They have a consistent person they can go on cute dates with, and still be able to play the field and go out. Realistically, the issue that arises is that these relationships may be fun in the moment, but they might not be fulfilling in the long term. People can get hung up on somebody who doesn't want to commit and would rather have a little bit of their time than none of it. This, of course, leads to a lot of unnecessary pain. As long as you understand the potential dangers of it, a situationship can be a good time. And in some cases, it can turn into a long-term relationship. Stopwatch. Verb. The process of showing off a relationship through the usage of social media in a subtle manner, such as posting vague status updates, date night pictures, or other things that imply a relationship is starting without saying it. See also hard launch, which directly shows off the partner or relationship. There's a certain appeal to being coy and having plausible deniability. That's basically what flirting is after all. Maybe it's to test the waters and see if any of your friends notice what you've been up to, or it's to make someone else jealous. With our images so carefully constructed on social media, it's not a surprise that we tend to be cautious of fully committing to having someone else's face on our page. It's the potential horror of having to delete photos or post because you broke up a week afterwards that can sit so securely in our minds. Talking stage. Noun. The starting stage of a relationship where one talks before the first date. This is typically where most potential romantic relationships end. If you're on a dating app or in the DMs and you can't get that first date planned, this is where you'll be stuck, in a relationship limbo of sorts. Some people say the talking phase extends into what is known as the 3-month rule, which is basically a 3-month time limit to put on a relationship to define it. However, once you go on a first date, you're dating. You may not be partners or anything, but that's not the talking stage, by definition. The talking stage is prep work before anything gets going. You can still use the 3-month rule, but that should only happen after the first date. The bar. Noun. The standards and expectations one possesses for relationships and of their partners. Commonly used in the phrase, the bar is in hell. For some people, doing the bare minimum can seem like a lot when they've experienced bad relationships. It's interesting to think what someone is willing to put up with when they have done very little dating. Truthfully, everyone should have expectations for being with others. Some have them too low, and some expect too much. So finding someone who fits with what you want may be difficult, but not necessarily impossible. The table. Noun. The things one brings to a relationship. Commonly used in the phrase, what do you bring to the table? In a relationship, there are things expected of either party. See also the bar. However, there are those who tend to expect more to be given to them for one reason or the other. A partnership is between people who want things to work between them, so they have to be willing to compromise and provide for one another. This means in some cases, someone may make more money, or someone may tend to the home, or someone does the cooking and the other does the cleaning. It doesn't have to be set in specific gender roles, but it does need to be fair for both sides. Neither person themselves is the table. We set the table together as a team. So that was a list of common dating terms. Let me know if there's anything I missed that you feel should have been included. As always, leave a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.